Today the topic is climate of India. Let us see what is the meaning of the word climate. Before going to understand the meaning of the word climate, we have to understand the meaning of the word weather. Why should we study about climate? When we are discussing about climate, why should we study about the word weather? See here, the word climate is a larger perspective which covers a larger region. Before to understand it clearly, we need to analyze the meaning of the word weather here. What is the meaning of the word weather? Daily updates. Have you seen anytime news? When we see the news, you get weather updates. We don't get climate updates. Weather keeps on changing in a short period of time, like for every day, every 2 days, every week, you have the weather updates. So this is called weather. Weather is nothing but a short period of time. Estimation of the climatic condition is called weather. When it comes for a long period of time or a span of 30 years or 20 years, then they take the average condition and they assess the climatic condition. That's why the word climate is to be understood clearly. We should know the meaning of the word weather first. So weather is for short period of time. The larger period of time, generally we get summer season, winter season, rainy season. So these seasons are assessed or guessed because of the climatic condition. That means the study of a weather for a long period of time gives the idea of a climate of any place. Now coming to the climate of our country, India, we have various issues which are going to be dealt or influencing the climatic condition of our nation. See here, the rainfall will be influenced by the climatic condition of the things which are influencing the rainfall or the day-to-day temperatures, or all these things are the temperature, the atmospheric pressure, the winds, the humidity and the precipitation. All these topics we are going to deal in this chapter to understand clearly what is the climatic condition of India. Now how do we get to know about all these things? We have the technology studies nowadays to study about the temperature of a region or a place using the graph called climatographs or climographs, which gives the average monthly temperature climate for us, like day-to-day temperature it provides for us, and below it provides the average climatic condition for us, so that we can assess and understand what is the climatic condition for a month of a place like Hyderabad, Vijayawada or Warangal. Then we get the clarity of the place, like what is the climatic condition or like what is the weather condition for this month. When we talk about an year or more than 10 years, then only we use the word climatic condition. We shall assess this in detail now. What are the factors that are influencing the climatic condition of any region? Now, the factors which are influencing the climatic condition of any region, we have basically divided the factors into 4 categories, that is the latitudes, the land and the water relationship, the relief and the upper atmospheric circulation. Coming to the latitudes, as we know, we have the 0 degree latitude called equator. The equator is all the latitudes are the imaginary lines which are drawn for our convenience to study, to assess the location of the various places. Coming to the climatic condition here, the lands which are nearby to the equator or between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, they receive the largest amount of sun or solar radiation. So the regions here will have hot climatic conditions. As we move on away from the equator, as the latitude degree goes on moving up, and by the time we go to poles, that solar radiation becomes less and it becomes very cool places. That's the reason why near the poles we have the cold climatic conditions. So nearby equator we have hot climatic conditions. Moving to the poles we have the cold climatic conditions. Like what is the influence or what is the reason behind this for getting this kind of conditions? Here the condition is the sun rays falls directly on the equator, and if you see the globe structure, as it is having the degree of variation, the distance traveled by the sun rays nearby to the equator and to the poles is varying here. So by the time they reaches to the poles, the radiation is becoming less, it is getting mixed up with the atmospheric pressure and all, it gets diverted, and then the influence of the sun rays on the land becomes very less. This is one of the reasons why the latitudes have more influence, or we can guess how the temperature influences or the climatic condition changes basing on the latitudinal location of any particular place. If the area is far away from the equator, you get less sun rays. If it is nearby to the equator, we get more climatic conditions. The countries nearby to the equator like African countries or the West Indies countries, you can experience hot climatic conditions. Like Canada or Australia, you get the moderate or cold climatic conditions. These are the examples of the countries which are located nearby to the latitudinal extents away from the equator and nearby to the equator. Now the next point is land and water relationship. Now if you see the globe, we have 3 parts filled with water, and only 1 part of the portion of the globe is covered with land. So nearly 70% of the earth is covered with water and 30% is covered with land, or nearly 29%. Now when the lands which are nearby to the water bodies, for example you take the states, coastal states of our region, regions like Chennai, they don't experience hot climatic conditions, or the regions like Kerala regions or Goa region, they have moderate climatic conditions even in the extreme summer also, because the influence of the water which is nearby to them, the water has a good nature that it does not get up heat very soon, and it does not get cool very soon. So when it gets up heat, it takes time to get reduced. So when the land is heat, the pressure moves on to the water, and when the water is heat, then land becomes cool. Because of this vice versa condition which is going on here, the lands which are nearby to the water bodies will have moderate climatic conditions when compared to the lands which are interior regions. For example, in Vizag you have better climatic condition or less temperature when compared to the regions of Hyderabad location. That is the influence of land and water relationships. Next one is the relief. Yesterday only we discussed about the relief regions. Relief means nothing but the location of the place or the land forms which are located in that region. Relief is nothing but the hills, mountains, plains, plateaus, all these come under the relief regions. The regions which are on higher elevation does not have high temperatures. For example, you take the famous Nainital, Shimla, all the Mussoorie, Udagamandalam, Ooty, all these places. These all are called hill stations. They are on the higher elevation from the normal sea level. So as we move on, the temperature influence will become less. When we are moving up, for every 100 meters, like 1 kilometer, you get the radiation of the temperature down for 1 degree Celsius. So as we are moving up like 3000 meters, 4000 meters, the temperature becomes like 5 degrees variation from the normal level to the upper elevation. So these places are called hill stations. Even in summer, many people visit these places like Nainital, Shimla and all these places to get recreation, because the temperature here is less when compared to the other regions. So basing on the location of the place also, we get the relief, that is relief region also. Relief factor also plays a key role in the temperature or the climatic condition of any particular region. The most important factor is the upper atmospheric circulation. If you look at the globe carefully, we are in the subtropical region. In the upper part of the tropical regions, we get the winds which are generated because of the extreme coldness, and they move towards the equator with a high pressure. When they are moving towards the equator with a high pressure, you get the cold winds towards the hot areas. And once these winds are coming, these winds are called jet streams. What are they called? Jet streams. These jet streams come with a very huge amount of force towards the places. When they are coming with such force on the atmospheric levels, they change the atmospheric temperature or climatic conditions and move on towards the other regions. As the cold winds move on towards the equator, they start to change the temperature nearby to the equator, they become cool. And from here again, when they are reversing it and moving towards the western part, then they move on towards the western region, changing the climatic conditions there. They also have their influence on the climatic condition of a particular region, or increase or decrease of a temperature of a particular region. Now let us see the other factors of winter. Now let us move on to the seasons which are in our country like India. See here, the seasons are generally categorized into three, as we all know, that summer, winter and the rainy seasons. Let us deal with the winter first, then we will deal with summer. Later we will detailedly discuss about the rainy season, the rainy climatic conditions which are happening, what are the factors influencing the rain and all. Now let us see here, coming to winter. In winter we have, in India we experience it from mid-November to February. The coldest month is January for us. And the temperatures in North India are less than 10 or sometimes 10, or they goes on sometimes like Dal Lake is getting freezed. Like that, they go on to minus degrees also in some climatic conditions in the January, like extreme 15th to 20th and all. But when it comes to South India, as it is a peninsular part, you get the thing here, like because it is covered by water on three sides, so it is having the moderate influence here. The average temperature would be 20 degrees. So when it compares to North India, here you are having less temperature, but when it move on to South India, it is having the moderate climatic condition. Winters are not so severe as that of in North India when compared to South India. And coming to the sky, how is the sky here? The sky is very pleasant, clear and very clean climatic conditions, but because of the cyclonic influences which are coming from the Mediterranean Sea belt, we get some disturbances or some kind of rainfall may occur during the mid-November or December seasons when there is any depression occurring in the Mediterranean Sea coast. That is from the west we get the influence of that. During that period we are having the Rabi season for us, which is provided as an additional advantage for us, because when it brings rains for us, it brings water for the fields, that is adding as a boon for the Rabi crop which is in the north as well as in the South India. And when it is passing from northern hemisphere, in the northern hemisphere as it is coming from the interior places, we get the cold winds which are covering the Bay of Bengal, which brings the moisture of the Bay of Bengal and moves on into the land part. And because the land part first touches the eastern coast, that is Tamil Nadu Coromandel coast, that is blocked by the hills here, Sarkar hills. So you get blocked, and due to the recreation process and the rainfall precipitation procedure, that gets blocked here. And in the Coromandel coast you get showers of rain during the winter also. So during winter we have moderate climatic conditions in South India, but in North India they experience extreme cold climatic conditions. Sometimes it is less than 10 or it is in the minus degrees also. As the climatic condition moves on towards the south, it is a moderate and average, it is up to 20, in some areas it is up to 25 degrees. And coming to the cyclones which are forming in the Mediterranean coast, you get the mixture of the rainfall, and it is adding as a boon to our Rabi crop during that period, especially wheat is done during that period. And because of the influence of the northern hemisphere and the Mediterranean sea coast, whatever we are getting, they move on from the Bay of Bengal and move towards the moisture they collected from the Bay of Bengal and touch the Coromandel coast of Tamil Nadu. They rain in the Tamil Nadu region. Now moving to the summer season. The summer season starts from March and it ends in the mid of the June as arrival of the monsoons. Now in April and May we experience extreme hot climatic conditions. The average temperature in North India would be 37 to sometimes it reaches up to 42 degrees, and in the western part and the central part of the regions you don't get less than 20 degrees at all at any place. This is all because the northern part of India experiences the dry winds or like hot winds which are known as Lu winds. The name of the hot winds is called Lu winds, which influence the climatic conditions here. And as the time passes on, moving on to South India, we also experience the hot climatic conditions, but because of the peninsular region we have the moderate influence on that, but they also experience up to 40 to 45 in some regions. We have Ramagundam region experiencing sometimes extremely up to 48 also because of the coal mines and all the which are present in that regions. So the local factors also influence the climatic conditions here. But by the end of the summer, that is by the June 1st or the second week, you get the monsoon outbreak in the peninsular part of India, that is in the Deccan Plateau, that is near the Kerala region. You get the outbreak. In the break of the outbreak, you get the showers, starting of the rains or the monsoon breaks, which comes the northwestern winds will bring the rains for us, which are blocked in the Kerala region and started to rain. Once they start raining, they bring rains in the all parts of the southern part or like the peninsular part, and it moves on to the middle part, central part, and then go to the northern part of India. As it touches first the southern peninsular states, in Andhra region it is called as mango showers, because during this period the mango plantations will be on their ripening season, and these water like rains help them to get more ripen and adds flavor for the mangoes, and you get the spread or the smell of it whenever we pass through a mango field. That's why these showers are known as mango showers in the Andhra Pradesh region. Now we are moving on to the most important climatic condition or like season which we are going to address like each and every person's life in our country, especially in India where 80% of people depend on the agriculture. That is the rainy season. We have discussed about the summer season, we have discussed about the winter season, but the crucial part of Indian people life is the rainy season. Let us see here what are the factors that are affecting the rainy climatic condition of our nation. The main thing is the advancing monsoons. How do the monsoons develop, or how do the monsoons reach to India? What are the factors that are influencing the monsoons? Now the word monsoon, when it comes to the word monsoon is derived from the Arabic word called mausam. When the Arabian traders are moving towards India, they experience the change of the winds. This transformation of the winds is known as the word mausam. It is from the Arabic language. As it moves on, the monsoon climatic conditions are experienced only between 20 degrees north to 20 degrees south of the latitudes which are nearby to the equatorial regions where high pressure and low pressure regions are present. Then how do we get the winds from the Indian Ocean? Which factors pull us the winds towards them? We have a Tibetan plateau knowing all over the world as the roof of the world, which is nearly 9 kilometers above from the normal level of the sea elevation. So if you look at there, the Tibetan plateau, as it is in the higher elevation and we are experiencing summer climatic condition in the northern part, it gets completely dried up, hot, and it becomes low pressure belt which attracts the pressures from all the other western part, Indian Ocean and the other regions towards that particular region. So this is one of the region when from the Indian Ocean, when the moisture winds are moving towards the upper part of India, they get divided into Arabian Sea winds and the Bay of Bengal winds, and move. These Arabian Sea winds move on to western part of India. These move on through eastern part of India, go through central Bengal, and then move on to the Tibet region, because the Tibet region is a main central point of focus which attracts all the, because it is a low pressure region, which attracts all the high pressure winds towards it. When it is attracting like that, when the winds are brought from the Arabian Sea, we have in the western coast the Arabian Sea is blocked winds by the Western Ghats. These Western Ghats block the winds in the early of June and get rains here. Later on, within 3 or 4 weeks, the entire rains which are blocked in the Western Ghats and later slow move on to the entire nation, and we get winds in the Andhra region, Tamil Nadu region, then move on to Maharashtra, Orissa. then move on to central India. They go on up to the Indo-Gangetic plain. Again, when these winds of high pressure become low pressure by the time they reach there, again they are re-attracted by the Bay of Bengal. So they come back in the retreating monsoons. We shall discuss about that one in the retreating monsoons. No, because of the Arabian Sea, we get the winds in the monsoons which are starting. Yes, we get the rains because of the Bay of Bengal winds also. But here we don't have the blockage. It is a rain shadow region because we have the absence of the eastern Ghats at various places. They could not block the winds, so we don't get the rains here. They just move on the region and they flow on to the other parts. Only Tamil Nadu, the Coromandel region, will get some amount of rainfall with heavy blow of the winds. But the most of the important winds what we have is the southwest monsoon winds which are moving from the Arabian Sea, which bring rains and showers for all the people in our nation, and most of the people depend on these southwest monsoons rather than on the northeastern monsoons. As we have seen the rains which I have seen from the June, we have the experiencing of the Arabian Sea winds moving on and setting of the monsoons. The monsoon onset, we have described what is the meaning of the word monsoons. Once the winds move on towards the upper part and then move on up and then settle here, when they become the high pressure to low pressure regions and they become dry, the regions which have experienced the cold climatic conditions here in the southern part of India also start to experience the humidity, hot climatic conditions. It's like normal average like 30 degrees to 35 degrees temperatures will be experienced during the winter season also, because the winds which went with the cold winds and brought rains for us have moved on up, and they are not nowhere like cold winds now. They are completely towards the lowlands and where it is a high temperature. So we don't have that experience. That kind of experience we find in the October season. That's why it is called October heat. Because of this October heat, once the land gets heated here and then becomes, it's a burning place again like a semi-summer region, the October heat region moves on towards the upper part, and the western part of India, that is especially the Thar desert and all the dry lands are located here. From here, again the low pressure winds start to attract the winds from the Arabian Sea. The Bay of Bengal region. The Bay of Bengal region in the Andaman coast, generally we have depressions during the time of October, November and December, and there is no year till now where we have never experienced any cyclonic conditions or cyclone impact on this. The regions which are covering the Krishna, Godavari and Kaveri regions will experience heavy damage or disaster because of the cyclones which are coming during this period. These winds are attracted by the western Ghats or the regions which are coming on the western plateau of our region, like which attracts the winds towards this region, that will come over to Tamil Nadu, Andhra, and then they cause the damages, and they sometimes move on to the Bengal region also, like Sundarbans and Bangladesh region, where they cause a huge damage for us and leads to the disasters. But till now India never experienced a state or like a year where they don't have any cyclone effect during this period. So it is compulsory we have a cyclone from the Andaman region, because in the Bay of Bengal we have the Andaman Platic conditions where we experience the cyclonic depressions occurring during this period, and during this we get the attractions from the interior places where the low pressure winds are there, so we get them pulled towards our region, so we get that effect. This effect is called retreating monsoons. Once the monsoons have onset, settled down and leave their impact, again the monsoons have rebuilding to reset it there, that's why it is called retreating monsoons. Till now we have discussed about the different climatic seasons and all, what is the impact for us, how the monsoons are coming, what are the retreating monsoons and all. Let us see what is climatic change. Climate change, the two words are very clear. Climate, till now what we have discussed for a span of time, what is the weather condition of a region is called climate. Generally this is an average estimation of a place. How does it change? What are the factors that are changing it? Now the latest trend or the latest problem what the entire world is facing is the global warming. Have you know what is the meaning of the word global warming? Globe is getting warmed, means our earth is getting warmed. As we all know, our earth is in the form of a spherical shape like a ball. This is also known as a fireball. Earlier it was a fireball. Over a period of millions of years of process and all, it became cooled and settled as a normal one, and because of the earth's gravitational pull, the gases are pulled towards the earth and withhold on it, and we got a thin layer which is covering the earth, that is called the ozone layer. This ozone layer protects us from the other UV rays which we are getting directly from the sun and save us from the hard skin diseases what we are getting because of the direct impact of the sun. Now what is the problem that we are having because of this description and all is, this ozone layer protects us our oxygen to be pure, fresh and healthy, and which protects us from the UV rays. As the people are now, because of industrial revolution, we got many of the carbon, methane gases releasing into the atmosphere. Because of these releasing into the atmosphere in a higher extent, the ozone layer is getting depleted. Once the ozone layer gets depleted, means it's getting holes, So the sun rays falls directly on the things and it creates for us harm for us naturally. Not only this, now we got the new concept, that is the AGW, that is nothing but anthropogenic global warming. What is this anthropogenic global warming? Anthropogenic is nothing but human made. Because of man made things, the globe is getting warm, the earth is getting high temperatures, we are getting bad effects of the temperatures. The humans, anthropogenic is nothing but something rocket science, it is nothing but humans are called anthropogenic. Now we have two major gases which are influencing the climatic condition more for us. One is carbon. Generally carbon influence is more and its effect is influence. We have the greenhouse effect where the temperatures are increasing, the ice caps are melting. Now we got the new gas called the methane gas, which influence is increasing more and more nowadays in the northern parts or the polar regions where the extreme cold climatic conditions. Now the ice are melting in a very high rapid range, and that starts to melt once it moves on melting, and also the average rise of the seas and all will increase later. Methane is a very powerful gas when compared to carbon, where we have to experience that some of the places in the maps may disappear because of global warming. This will be a major cause because of the global warming. We will discuss it. Just now we have discussed the AGW. The AGW is nothing but anthropogenic global warming. The anthropogenic global warming is influencing the climate change. It is not only influencing the climate change, it is also influencing the weather change. Did you get the point here? It is not only influencing the climate change, it is also influencing the weather change. Generally we get, because of any harm or any changes, we get impact on the long span of any climatic conditions, we get the change. But here we are getting on a short span of time also, we are getting the influence on the weather climatic conditions. As we have discussed, weather is nothing but a short period of time, the climatic condition is called weather. So the atmospheric condition is changing for a short period of time also because of the AGW. So the governments of other different nations have formed together a committee called IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change. This is a global organization. Their main issue is to address the AGW, the anthropogenic global warming. So how to control this one? Now the issue is that recently they had a meeting at Warsaw in Poland in 2013. Till now, from Kyoto Protocol from 1999 to 2013, every meeting could not meet its expectations. The reason is behind this is that we have two categories of countries, that is developed countries and the developing countries. Developed countries are exhibiting more amount of the carbon into the atmosphere. They are saying that they could not cut down their carbon emissions. The developing countries have no other alternative rather than emitting more amount of carbons to develop their country and bring them into the strong economic position or the political stability. So the developed countries are not ready to cut their carbon emissions and insisting that developing countries should cut it. Developing countries are saying that we don't have any other alternative rather than the developed countries should try to cut it down. So because of this controversy which is going on between the two groups of nations which we are having in the world, so the IPCC meetings till now are not successful and could not meet any of its expectations to the larger extent. Only for namesake it was conducted, or only for minor changes were approached towards it. And AGW is real. Many of the scientists are worried about these reactions, what are happening in the globally, the scenario and all these things. Coming to the deforestation, the major issue, daily we are cutting thousands and thousands of hectares of lands without mercy, but we are using only the commercial purpose of that. And when it comes to the real climatic condition, because of cutting down the forest, and by the time the forest grow, we are nowhere having a chance of growing a forest, just we are cutting down the forest and leaving, and the greenhouse effect is completely coming down and the temperatures are going up, and because of this also we are having a major threat to our climatic conditions. What are the changes which were brought because of AGW? We will discuss now. Till now we have discussed the various reasons for the causes of the global warming, climatic changes, the anthropology, the human made mistakes or the deforestation, what is the IPCC doing and all these things. Now what is the impact of this? Why we have to address this issue very seriously? Because it started influencing on the Indian land also. Now see the impact of the climate change. What does it bring? Major changes. For us it does not look much serious, like the temperatures are averagely have raised for only 2 degrees Celsius. When the average temperatures have raised for 2 degrees Celsius, we generally feel like from 38 it went to 40 or from 40 it went to 42. It does not bring much variation for us. It is an average temperature rise, means it is not only 2 degrees, it may be 4 degrees or it may be 5 degrees like that. When it is in the average, it is 2 degrees. And one more thing is, when the average 2 degrees have raised, the sea levels have raised to 1 meter above the normal level. So 1 meter above to the normal level, all the coastal areas were influenced by this. And when the Ayla Tufan which came in 2009, Ayla super cyclone which has occurred in 2009, Many of the families which are in the eastern part of Kolkata have lost their houses, and many thunderstorms. The policemen have used the Kolkata Metropolitan Development Authority has used a bulldozer to set down the houses because of thunderstorms, and which are very nearby to the coastal areas may be influenced and fell down into the things. We have seen in tsunami 2011, the houses are floating on that. So the water impact may be very heavy, the forces. And when it comes to a super cyclone like Ayla, where the winds are with very heavy winds and forces, people are forcefully evacuated from that place, and many of the people, like 700 to 800 families, were rendered homeless, and they spent many sleepless nights to get secured from these cyclones. These all are some of the examples of the experiences or impacts of the climatic changes, and this climate change does not occur only in Kolkata region or in some other regions. Once it starts influencing, it is a global phenomena. It starts to influence in the entire world or in the entire globe, and the Himalayas, once they start to melt, they already started melting in some regions. In the polar region, the ice caps are melting, so the globally the water levels will increase up. The fisherman will get disturbance in his life, and automatically the coastal areas are becoming less, they get submerged into the land. We have the Indira sub point getting submerged for us in the 2004 tsunami for us. So like that, it is a global phenomena and nobody will be left out of it. So everybody should take it seriously and address the issue. The IPCC should consider it seriously, and all the governments should think of the entire globe rather than only thinking about their own countries, so that our countries will be safe with even the climatic changes, and the safety measures should be taken.